Hello there, Vic Benedict here. We're playing Ninja Gaiden 2 Black on the Series X, and this is my Master Ninja Difficulty Gaiden walkthrough. We're currently on Chapter 12 of 17. It is entitled Heart of Darkness. You can make a killing off of these bugs. They're all over the chapter. My only problem right now currently is that my flails here, you notice I'm using the flails to do UTs on them. My flails are only at level 1, and it's not outright killing them. So it's making me do twice the work. So 2 dragon statues from now, I'm going to upgrade these flails to level 2 so that we can just get the job done and actually kill them. Because the combo potential for this weapon is just unrivaled. I thought the Tonfa was the best, but they may have changed the Tonfa because I usually average something like 35 to 40 combo with the Tonfa UT, and with this, it's you know, here we're already surpassing. We're in the 60s, 70s. It's and then obviously collect. Don't charge off that money. Collect it and put it in your pocket, so to speak. And maybe they did, or maybe I'm just misremembering the Tonfa. But yeah, get the flails up to level 2 at least, because these bugs. They should die with the Tonfa or the flails UT, but this is the version that enemies have more HP. So anytime you're doing this, you want to repeatedly tap the Y button because he goes into that pseudo cremator move, but it doesn't always do it. It's dependent on the enemies around you, the enemies their health. Because he's not just going to do that move if they're dying or dead. You have to redirect to other enemies. There's a store right there too. A couple of trollish setups over here. I noticed on the first pair of rocket launcher enemies, if you're standing on the shore and trying to use the Inferno, and you cast it, they're too far away from you for it to hit them. So that is one problem with the Inferno. If you're too far away, even if you're manually targeting them and you see the target circles over them, if they're too far away, they're immune from it. They won't take any damage. So I decided not to use any Nimpo on those rocket launcher enemies because this is one kind of detestable part. Same goes for targeting some of these enemies if you're not on the water casting it, because you're on the bridge at first before you jump down. If you cast it on that bridge where the save statue was, cast it from the far side, you're not going to hit anybody. So there's only two upgrades to speak of on this chapter. There's like several crystal skulls, but I've already picked those up, so you won't be seeing any of those. The chest, like right to my left, is a static chest that has blue essence. The first guy that I went after, he has a chest right next to him that has an herb, and you need to be careful about. I've said it a lot, and I don't mean to say it so many times and annoy folks, but don't just haphazardly open chests, without thinking about it, because that's going to hurt your bottom line, and then you're going to not be able to buy as much stuff. If you're curious what I just did a second ago, I was trying to drag some essence that I thought was staggered in the environment over to me, but he just did a forward Y for some reason. Yeah, feel free to use as much Nimpo as you want over here, because there is a chest that will completely refill all of your Nimpo. But before we do that, let's just get this chest and get a little bit of HP. That doesn't fill us up, unfortunately. We're nearby one of the Life of the Gods, so I'm going to double back here. After I think I'll pick this chest up first. So It's right up here. Here's the life of the gods. But once the music is finished and all the sound is subdued, there's no more threats. There's no more ambushes over here. This corpse here looks like it has an herb. We can't pick it up, so I'll have to use one and then pick it up. This chest over here has 1,000 are fish, chargeable fish. I always mean to calculate how much I'm getting from that, but I don't. I also, in Chapter Challenge and in Ninja Gaiden 2, how it would say your combo and your kill count and all your statistics that are happening at any given moment, like instant kills and things. And all this game says is just a number on it. I really think that's kind of boring in my opinion. When I initially was introduced to these games and things, I didn't really want to see all the information on because I thought that it was redundant and it was in my way. But it is really satisfying to see those pop-up messages about getting instant kills and different things. And here all it says is just a boring hit counter. So over here, there's more bugs, and then try not to go too far up. It's really easy to get turned around over here, so use your ninja sense if you need to, because if you go too far up, you're gonna spawn a pair of rocket launcher guys. Look at the combo here, almost 90. We didn't even 50 is all that you have to get to, so if you didn't know, the combo multiplier for your money, you're getting more money. 50 is the limit. If you get 100, you're not going to get double what you would get if you got 50. So it is satisfying to get the most, but 50 is all they're going to give you as far as extra money. And I know it might sound strange to call essence money, but it's the currency that you use to buy things, so it makes sense to call it money in my opinion. But yeah, the Tonfa, look, over 100 hits here. The Tonfa just can't do it. I don't know, I thought it used to be able to do it, but maybe I'm just thinking of Ninja Gaiden 2. And then there's a couple of ambushes prior to the dragon statue as well. There's also, I'll point out when I'm crossing this rope over here, don't jump and shoot with the arrow over here if you can avoid it, because what can happen is he can latch on to the rope and you can get shot while you're trying to get off of the rope. You could just be hanging off it vulnerable. So just eke around the corner here and shoot them. You can shoot them through the trees and the branches really well. But when you're on this rope, there's a store over here and a crystal skull. It's you just go on those branches over to the right, swing off them. But once you progress up a little bit, there's going to be, I think there's at least 2 ambushes over here. I know that once you approach the dragon statue, it dims, and then there's enemies that come up from behind you. And then there is also a chest over here too that had 1,000 for me, but I know it has fish, but I can't remember if those fish are the type that you can charge off of. I'm not sure, but this chapter you can make an absolute killing. There's a talisman of rebirth coming up too, and if you haven't used one, there's another 25,000 for you. And it's not as lucrative as Ninja Gaiden 2's version of this chapter by any means. But then again, you don't have to fight the Amazonian Deathworm and the Quetzalcoatl boss fights. Oh man, that was too bad. I knew he was around somewhere, but he kind of just jumped out of the bushes, didn't he? I didn't bother manipulating this chest. I just took the 1,000. You know, we've made so much money, and we're gonna make so much more money over here too, because there's another collection of bugs. Bear in mind that I did at this point go back to the store, upgraded my flails to level 2 to expedite these kills, and you know, just get in the midst of them, repeatedly tap Y, and hopefully he'll do the cremator move. It is situational though, like I mentioned. And, you know, just think of this as just a big bundle of money that you're picking up. Wow, this weapon... And the thing is, I don't like this weapon to use as a weapon to fight with. I just don't care for it. It's kind of like me and the Tonfa. I like it a little bit, but it's just not... I don't know, the short range weapons have never really appealed to me as a, you know, I'm more of a lunar type of person as far as my preference, but I know that these types of weapons have a cult following to them. I guess maybe everything has a cult following when you think about it. These bugs have a lot of HP too, and that's actually good because you can work on them a lot, get a lot of money. And then interestingly, after you get to this next save point, there's a fight that on Ninja Gaiden 2 is skippable, because all it is those worms. But on this version, there's those gun ninja and worms, but it's not as horrendous as the Ninja Gaiden 2 fight. But at least to its credit, you could skip it. So I don't think you can go back at this point, but it doesn't matter. Just fall down the shaft, save your progress. Okay, this is the fight up here. It's, I think I mentioned it's worms, excuse me, and zombies. So the worms, you got to be real careful, because if you just stand there, well, it's a hard fight anyway, because you've got zombies that are very accurate with their guns, and you know, getting off charges, you just get interrupted a lot on it. I mean, even if there weren't zombies here, you'd still have to be careful about where you started to charge, because the zombies, I'm sorry, the worms, when they go underwater, they come up right under you, breaking your charge and guard, crushing you, and damaging you, obviously, very heavily. I also tried to upgrade the flail to level 3, but I found that it was killing the enemies too quickly and giving me a lower amount of combo potential. So, you know, that's just a trade-off. If you want a stronger Begorian flail, that's going to kill the enemies faster, especially the bugs. So, I just did the boss too, and the boss is... there's nothing wrong with the boss except one thing that I think that is kind of shameful about it. The way that he flies up and then lands, like Zidonius does. I'm sorry. Is it Zidonius? Yeah, it's Zidonius. You know how Zidonius flies up, and then it's anybody's guess whether you're gonna get hit by it or not. Like, for me personally, I could dodge maybe 1 or 2 out of 10 times. It's the same with this dragon. I don't like this dragon at all. I mean, I like the aesthetic of it. I like everything about it except that one move that's completely unfair. And I was trying to find out, like, how are you supposed to avoid it? It's just, and then I just said, I'll just use an impo. Because I thought, like, you had to look for a shadow or something as it was trying to drop on you, or time it. They lock you in here too, and I'm gonna throw the Inferno, but I'm too far away, and it doesn't even damage them. So this is just a mess. You can see, if you want to, you can try to shoot the water monsters with the gun, because the gun is what you need to kill them. But while you're trying to do that, the zombies are going to be shooting at you, and the zombies they're too fast for you to use the gun on them. Excuse me, to use the gun on them because it's going to conflict with the lock on while you're trying to, deal with opposing targets. So what I decided to do is just do a run for it, because as you saw, once you save it and get to that save point and come back, they're gone. So I don't remember it being that bad. And then of course, when you're on the opposite side, you can't use the Inferno and kill those zombies because they're too far away. So what you could do is just try to just use the bow or the gun, whatever you prefer, on the zombies, and just kind of deal with the conflicting lock on, or just don't. I mean, I wouldn't deal with it. I think it's a really bad setup, that one right there. And here we've got just more sheer money potential here. Just all this is just for money. There's also, excuse me. There's also a Talisman of Rebirth coming up over here as well. So you just saw me pick up the Jewel of the Demon Seal. There's one more of those. I think it's on the next chapter. So that will be the 8th one of those. And then this isn't particularly easy either, because you've got zombies walking around, and they're always trying to interrupt you from doing charges. So if you have to, just use absorb staggered essence to facilitate charges. And if you need to, there's a store over here as well. Just to let you know, I had about 100,000 after this, and like I said, I was thinking about upgrading the flails, but it was just killing these enemies too quickly and not getting me a high enough combo to pay for itself. I think the prices for those upgrades are a little bit too expensive given the number of enemies in the game. I know they increased the number of enemies on the staircase fight and on a Tempered Gravestone chapter, and we can look forward to seeing how that is, because I haven't seen it play out, I don't think. But okay, so yeah, what do you want for the Dark Dragon? I think that's what it's called. Probably it doesn't really matter about the Nimpo that you have. I just like to use the Wind Blades because it's quick, and I can just use it when he's trying to jump on me. I'll just use that. And I tried for a good while to get some kind of a skill at evading his pounce, but then it occurred to me it's just a Zidonius pounce, and a Zidonius pounce is inexcusable. It's just it's too it's just too inexplicable. I don't understand it. So, and there's no shame in using Nimpo to avoid it, because the Nimpo is certainly not going to damage the boss. But it does have two phases: the phase before and after you cut its tail off. So you're going to be doing 2 OTs on it. And okay, so I said, I mentioned what Nimpo you might want to have on him. What weapon do you want on him? I like the Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang. Now, the other thing is, if you do want a Talisman of Rebirth, there's no shame in putting that on. I mean, you just picked one up, or you picked the monetary equivalent of it up. And there is a fight right before the boss that's mandatory. And if you do die on that fight, they're going to put you back where you last saved it. So you might have to do this fight all over again. However, if you want to clear all these enemies and then go back and save it, you can. You might have noticed that there was a brief edit where there was a cutscene a few moments back. Don't worry about that. You can swim back the way you came and save it. Go to the store, do anything you need to. Yeah, we're making a lot of money on this chapter. That's basically what it's for. I mean, it's not just for the sole purpose of making money, but okay, yeah, and I didn't notice too that until now, but you don't want to stand directly behind the dragon either, because he has this tail attack that he does. So you really only have one choice, because you don't want to stand by his head because he'll grab you. I mean, you can hit him on his head if you want to, if you're quick enough to avoid him biting and grabbing you. But you want to stay on one side of him or the other. And what he's going to do a pretty drawn out telegraph of clawing at the ground and summoning up a spire of flame. So you'll quickly realize, that tell. And beyond that, he does a spin attack that guard crushes you, unfortunately. And then he's got this propensity to, at random, to fly up and pounce on you. And, and of course he's got an attack that you want him to do that he doesn't seem to do as much as you might want him to. I'm sorry, you want him to do it more is what it is, but he does a long, drawn-out flame attack where he just breathes fire for a long time, giving you a big opportunity to wail on him. So all I do is Y with the weapon that I'm using now, or the rotate 360Y attack with this weapon. Here he is. There's his tail for the spire. It might not be a spire, you know what I mean, but it's just an AoE on the ground that's fire, so you want to just not be anywhere near that. And again, don't get behind him because he'll slap you down with his tail. And let's see how many times he flies up, because that will dictate how many times I use the nympho on him. But he's seemingly pretty reserved at not doing it right now. I'm going to switch to the wind blades. Yeah, he keeps doing this move, which is fine by me. Here he is. I'm not going to dodge it. I could dodge it maybe like with Zidonius 2 out of 10 times. It's pretty god-awful. And I'm not excusing my lack of skill by criticizing it and things like that. I'm just saying that I think it's pretty obnoxious and just not very obvious about how it's supposed to be maneuvered around. But after you've done the second OT, that will be the end of the 12th chapter. Hopefully it wasn't too bad of a chapter for you, and hopefully you made a lot of essence during your stay in it. So I will see you in the next video, and until then, please take care.